Hey Gemini. Okay, so I just sat down with my deck because I kept getting this really strong pull to do a reading specifically for you all, and honestly, what came through is pretty significant. The energy around this reading feels very revealing. Like things that have been hidden or misunderstood about you are suddenly coming to light, and people around you are genuinely surprised by what they're discovering. So let me just shuffle here and see what the cards want to show us about what's being exposed about you right now. I'm getting the sense that there's been a lot going on beneath the surface with Gemini energy lately, things that people didn't fully understand or maybe even misjudged about you. And now all of that is coming out into the open. All right, first card I'm pulling here is the Three of Cups, and okay, this is really interesting right off the bat. What's being exposed about you, Gemini, is actually your genuine capacity for creating community and bringing people together. I think for a long time, people may have seen your social nature as superficial or scattered, like you're just flitting from person to person without real depth. But what's coming to light now is that you've actually been the glue holding certain friend groups or communities together. People are realizing that when you weren't around, things fell apart. The conversations weren't as interesting, the gatherings weren't as fun, and there was this missing spark. What's shocking people is that your social intelligence is actually a gift you've been using to uplift others. You have this ability to make everyone feel included, to bridge different personalities, to bring out the best in people when they're together. And I think some people are feeling a bit guilty now because they may have taken this for granted or even criticized you for being too social or not serious enough. But the truth that's being revealed is that you've been creating joy and connection in ways that people didn't fully appreciate until recently. The Three of Cups here is also showing me that your friendships run deeper than people thought. There's a loyalty and genuine care that you've been expressing. And maybe you're the type who doesn't make a big dramatic show of your feelings. So people assumed you were more casual about relationships than you actually are. But situations are arising now where your true investment in people is becoming obvious. And it's catching others off guard in the best way. Pulling the next card and I'm getting the Devil. And oh wow, Gemini, this is revealing something completely different but equally important. What's being exposed here is your relationship with your own desires and attachments, but not in the way people might expect. See, the Devil often gets a bad reputation, but in this context, it's showing that people are discovering you're way more passionate and intense than they realized. For so long, you might have been playing it cool, keeping things light and breezy on the surface, and people bought into this idea that you're emotionally detached or commitment phobic. But what's coming out now is that you actually feel things deeply. You've had intense attachments, strong desires, maybe even some obsessive tendencies about certain goals or people that you kept private. And now something is happening that's making this intensity visible to others. This could be manifesting as people seeing how hard you've actually been working on something you care about, or how much someone or something means to you. Maybe you're finally expressing feelings you've held back, or circumstances are revealing the extent of your dedication to a particular path or person. And people are shocked because it completely contradicts the narrative they had about you being flighty or non-committal. The Devil is also exposing any unhealthy patterns or toxic situations you've been tolerating. Maybe you've been in a job, relationship, or situation that wasn't serving you, and you've been handling it with such grace and humor that people didn't realize how much it was affecting you. But now the truth is coming out about what you've been dealing with, and people are stunned by your resilience, and also perhaps feeling protective of you in ways they weren't before. Next card coming through is the Page of Cups. And this is so beautiful, Gemini, because what's being revealed here is your creative and intuitive side that you may have been keeping under wraps. The Page of Cups represents emotional intelligence, artistic sensitivity, and intuitive gifts, and I'm seeing that people are discovering you have depths of creativity and emotional awareness that you haven't been fully showing. Maybe you've been writing, creating art, or developing some creative project in private, and now it's coming to light. Or perhaps people are witnessing your intuitive hits being accurate in ways that surprise them. You might have been downplaying your psychic or empathic abilities, maybe making jokes about your intuition. But now situations are proving that you actually have a genuine gift for reading energy and understanding what's not being said. The Page of Cups is also about vulnerability and emotional honesty, and I'm getting that people are seeing a more tender side of you. Maybe you're sharing your feelings more openly, or circumstances are revealing emotional experiences you've been through that people didn't know about. This is creating a new level of respect and connection because people are realizing you're not just the witty, clever Gemini they thought they knew, but someone with real emotional depth and creative soul. There's something here about artistic expression, too. If you've been hesitant to share your creative work or ideas, what's being exposed is your actual talent and unique perspective. People are being shocked by the quality and originality of what you create when you let yourself be seen in this way. All right, pulling the Seven of Wands now. And Gemini, this card is revealing your fighting spirit and the battles you've been facing that others didn't fully understand. The Seven of Wands shows someone standing their ground against opposition. And what's being exposed here is that you've been dealing with way more challenges and resistance than you let on. People are discovering that you've been defending your position, your beliefs, or your path against significant pushback, and you've been doing it largely alone. I think the shocking part for people is realizing how much you've been advocating for yourself and standing up for what you believe in, even when it was difficult or unpopular. Maybe you've been fighting for your ideas at work, defending your choices in your personal life, or standing firm on boundaries that others didn't even know you had set. And you've been doing this without making a big deal about it or playing the victim, so people just assumed everything was easy for you. What's coming to light now is your courage and determination. Situations are arising where your strength is becoming undeniable, where people are seeing that you don't back down when something matters to you. This is particularly shocking if people had written you off as someone who goes with the flow or avoids conflict. They're realizing you actually have a fierce protective instinct for your values and the people you care about. The Seven of Wands is also exposing any situations where you've been unfairly challenged, or where people have been testing you. Maybe there's been some workplace competition or social drama where someone was trying to undermine you, and now the truth about that situation is coming out. People are seeing that you were actually in the right all along, and your integrity is being validated in ways that vindicate you completely. Next up, I'm drawing the Two of Wands, and this is revealing your vision and ambition, Gemini. The Two of Wands is about planning, strategy, and having your eye on bigger horizons, and what's being exposed here is that you've been thinking much bigger than people realized. While others may have seen you as scattered or unfocused, you've actually been developing a comprehensive vision for your future, and now pieces of that plan are becoming visible. People are discovering that your curiosity and your interest in multiple things weren't signs of lack of commitment, but rather you gathering information and resources for something larger you've been building toward. Maybe you've been learning skills, making connections, or positioning yourself strategically, and now people are seeing how it's all coming together into something impressive. The Two of Wands suggests you've been standing at a crossroads or contemplating significant decisions about your direction. And what's shocking people is the level of thought and consideration you've put into your path. You're not as impulsive as your reputation might suggest. You've been weighing options carefully, thinking about long-term consequences, and making calculated moves that are now paying off in visible ways. This card is also about partnership and collaboration on your terms. What's being revealed is that you know exactly what kind of support and partnership you need, and you're not willing to settle for less. People might be surprised by your standards or your willingness to go it alone rather than compromise your vision. There's a quiet confidence here that's being exposed, a certainty about your path that people didn't realize you had. Drawing the Five of Swords now. And okay, this one is a bit edgier but really important, Gemini. The Five of Swords is about conflict, strategy, and sometimes the harsh realities of competition and betrayal. What's being exposed here are situations where you've been underestimated or where there's been some behind-the-scenes drama or competition that's now coming to light. I'm seeing that people are discovering you're much more strategic and aware than they gave you credit for. Maybe there were people who thought they could manipulate you or play games with you because they saw you as too nice or too scattered to notice. But what's being revealed is that you saw everything all along. You were aware of the politics, the manipulation, the fake friendships, and you made conscious choices about how to handle it. What's shocking people is that you chose your battles wisely. You didn't engage with every provocation or call out every bit of shadiness you noticed. Instead, you protected yourself strategically, gathering information, maintaining your position, and waiting for the right moment to act if necessary. And now the truth about certain situations or people is coming out, and your judgment is being validated. The Five of Swords can also indicate that some people are realizing they underestimated you to their own detriment. Maybe someone competed with you or tried to one-up you, and now they're seeing that you were actually several steps ahead. Or perhaps conflicts you walked away from are being revealed to others, and people are understanding why you chose to disengage, rather than fight battles that weren't worth your energy. There might also be an exposure of times when you had to make difficult choices to protect yourself, even if it meant disappointing others or being seen as the bad guy temporarily. The truth about those situations and your motivations is coming to light, and people are gaining a new appreciation for the difficult positions you've navigated. Pulling Temperance now, and Gemini, this is such a powerful card for what's being revealed about you. Temperance is about balance, moderation, patience, and the alchemical process of blending different elements into something harmonious. What's being exposed here is your incredible ability to maintain equilibrium and find middle ground in situations that seem impossible to navigate. People are discovering that while you have this reputation for duality and changeability, you've actually been the most balanced person in the room. You have this gift for seeing multiple perspectives, holding space for contradictions, and finding synthesis where others only see conflict. What's shocking people is that your ability to shift between different modes isn't inconsistency, but rather a sophisticated form of adaptation and wisdom. I'm getting that. Situations are revealing how you've been the mediator, the bridge, the one bringing disparate elements together in your work, relationships, or community. Maybe you've been quietly managing conflicts, helping people understand each other, or creating harmony behind the scenes. And now your role in maintaining peace and facilitating understanding is becoming visible, and people are stunned by your diplomatic skills and emotional intelligence. Temperance is also about healing and integration. What's being exposed is your personal journey of healing and self-improvement that you've been working on privately. Maybe you've been in therapy, doing spiritual work, addressing past traumas, or working on integrating different aspects of yourself. And now the results of that inner work are showing up in ways that are noticeable to others. People are seeing a groundedness and centeredness in you that's new, and they're curious about your transformation. This card suggests that your patience is also being revealed. In a world that values speed and immediate results, you've been taking the slow, steady approach to important things in your life. And now that patience is paying off in visible, tangible ways that prove you were right to take your time. People who may have criticized you for not moving faster are seeing the quality and sustainability of what you've built through patient, measured effort. Next card is the Four of Cups. And this is interesting because it's showing what's being exposed about your internal world and your relationship with opportunities and offers. The Four of Cups depicts someone in contemplation, seemingly uninterested in the cups being offered to them. And what's coming to light, Gemini, is that you've been much more selective and discerning than people realized. People might have thought you were oblivious or ungrateful, not understanding why you weren't jumping at certain opportunities or relationships that seemed good on the surface. But what's being revealed now is that you saw something others didn't see. Maybe you turned down job offers, relationship possibilities, or social opportunities that looked great from the outside, and people questioned your judgment. But now the truth about those situations is coming out, and people are realizing you were right to decline. There were red flags you noticed, misalignments with your values, or better opportunities you were waiting for that others couldn't see yet. The Four of Cups is also exposing your inner life and the fact that you've been going through a period of introspection and questioning. Maybe you've been less socially available or less enthusiastic about things you used to enjoy, and people interpreted this as depression or aloofness. But what's being revealed is that you've been on a meaningful inner journey, reevaluating what truly matters to you, and this period of withdrawal has been necessary and productive. People are starting to see the wisdom and clarity that's emerged from this contemplative phase. There's also something here about emotional boundaries. What's being exposed is that you've been protecting your emotional energy and being more careful about what and who you let in. This might have seemed cold or distant to some people, but the truth coming to light is that you've been recovering from emotional exhaustion or past hurts, and your self-protection was necessary and healthy. People are gaining new respect for your ability to prioritize your well-being. Drawing the Ten of Pentacles now. And wow, Gemini, this is such a significant card for what's being revealed about your long-term vision and your connection to legacy and stability. The Ten of Pentacles represents wealth, family, tradition, lasting success, and creating something that endures beyond yourself. What's being exposed here is that beneath your seemingly spontaneous and freedom-loving exterior, you actually deeply value security, legacy, and building something lasting. People are discovering that you've been working toward financial stability and long-term security in ways they didn't realize. Maybe you've been investing, saving, building a business, or developing skills that will pay off over time. And you've been doing this quietly, without broadcasting your financial moves or bragging about your plans. Now your financial wisdom and the results of your prudent decisions are becoming visible. And people are shocked because it contradicts the narrative that Geminis are bad with money or too impulsive for financial planning. The Ten of Pentacles is also about family and roots, and what's being revealed is your connection to family legacy or your desire to create one. Maybe you've been more involved in family matters, more connected to your roots, or more thoughtful about the kind of legacy you want to leave than people realized. If you have children or are planning to, people might be discovering how seriously you take your role and responsibility. If not, this could be about the family you're choosing or creating, the mentorship you're offering, or the way you're contributing to your community's well-being. There's something here about traditional values and respect for established systems. What's shocking people is that you actually have reverence for tradition, expertise, and time-tested wisdom, even though you're known for being innovative and unconventional. You can hold both the new and the old, respecting what works from the past while bringing fresh perspective to it. This maturity and balanced view is being exposed in ways that are changing how people see you. Last card I'm pulling here is the Hierophant. And Gemini, this is fascinating because it's revealing a completely unexpected dimension of who you are. The Hierophant represents tradition, spiritual authority, teaching, mentorship, and commitment to systems of belief or practice. What's being exposed about you is that you have a deeply spiritual or philosophical side that you may have kept somewhat private, and you're actually stepping into a teaching or mentoring role that surprises people. I'm seeing that people are discovering you have wisdom and knowledge in areas they didn't know you'd studied or experienced. Maybe you have expertise in spiritual practices, religious or philosophical traditions, or specialized knowledge that you haven't been loudly advertising. And now situations are arising where you're being called upon to teach, guide, or share this knowledge, and people are realizing you're actually quite knowledgeable and capable in this role. The Hierophant is also about commitment to values and principles. What's being revealed is that you have a strong moral compass and ethical framework that guides your decisions, even when it's not convenient or popular. People may have thought you were too flexible or relativistic in your thinking, but they're discovering you actually have core principles you don't compromise on. This integrity is being exposed through situations where you make choices that demonstrate your values clearly, and it's earning you new respect and even admiration. There's something here about conventional commitment as well. Maybe you're getting married, making a long-term commitment, pursuing a traditional career path, or joining an established institution in a way that surprises people who saw you as the eternal free spirit. What's being exposed is that you're ready for structure and commitment when it aligns with your values and serves your growth. You're not afraid of tradition or convention. You just needed to find the right context for it. The Hierophant can also indicate that you're becoming a bridge between different worlds or systems. Maybe you're translating complex spiritual concepts into accessible language, bringing together different traditions or practices, or helping people understand how seemingly contradictory ideas can coexist. Your unique ability to communicate across boundaries and make connections between different frameworks is being revealed, and it's positioning you as someone who can guide others in meaningful ways. So Gemini, looking at all these cards together, what's being exposed about you is this incredibly rich, complex picture that defies the simple stereotypes people may have held about you. People are discovering your depth, your strategic thinking, your emotional intelligence, your commitment to growth and balance, your financial wisdom, your spiritual depth, and your capacity for genuine connection and community building. The shock comes from realizing that you've been containing multitudes all along, working on yourself and your life in ways that weren't visible on the surface. You've been underestimated, and now the truth is coming out. Your light work in bringing people together, your shadow work in facing your attachments and intensity, your creative gifts, your fighting spirit, your vision and planning, your strategic awareness, your balanced approach to life, your discernment, your legacy building, and your spiritual wisdom are all being revealed. And honestly, people are having to completely recalibrate how they see you. This exposure isn't something to fear. It's actually liberating because you get to stop downplaying yourself or fitting into boxes that were never right for you anyway. People are seeing the real you, and the real you is so much more impressive and multidimensional than the simplified version they had in their heads. If you're resonating with this reading, I'd love to hear what's been coming to light for you lately. Have people been surprised by aspects of yourself you're revealing or that circumstances are exposing? Drop a comment and let me know how this is showing up in your life. And if this reading connected with you, Share it with another Gemini who might need to hear this message right now.